What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Westerbros podcast. Right now, we're talking about Westworld, episode 4, season dose. I'm here with Jack. Jack is back. Welcome back, Jack. Now we're gonna have someone who actually understands story, understands characters, knows the characters' real names, not their names in a wire. We have someone here whose expertise is going to guide us through this discussion. I'm also here with Marco and Hani. Alex is in the background. The whole squad is back. Okay? We just had some pizza. We're eating the pizza.
We're eating the pizza.
We're eating the pizza. Scaparaturo. We're having a little bit of scaparaturo. A little tiny bit of scoopity-beanie.
I encourage you.
Listen, I had...
Mobilize the community.
Hey, we have to... Listen, Marco is here. Marco does not like when we make fun of Italian
That's not true.
food. You were getting very upset.
You were just in the corner saying, I don't get it.
What are you talking about?
You were just taking any word and throwing a vowel at the end of it.
Not any word.
It was
We were
not
saying,
good.
we were saying
You
a fun...
took yabba dabba do at one point.
I did. That's a good one. Yabba dabba doo. Yabba dabba doo. Hanna-Barbera.
This is not good.
Hanna-Barbera.
This hurts your brand. I think
Hanna-Barbera.
A fantucci.
You said habanero.
I said triceratopizzi.
You started infusing dinosaurs.
Yep. I know.
Yes, I know.
I think, but you think that's where it ends for me?
No, I don't.
You think it's just dinosaurs that I got?
Where else can you go?
Rattlesnake ragu.
That actually sounds good.
That sounds real good.
I feel like that's actually close.
Rattlesnake.
I feel like if you go like New Mexico, stuck
you
with
can
the
get that.
reptile.
What? You could definitely get rattlesnake ragu anywhere
But
you
you
want.
stuck with like a similar like rattlesnakes could have came
Listen,
from dinosaurs.
it's going anywhere. I could
Right?
do.
You could have went with household items.
I could easily do that. Lampa shade.
I love lamb.
Yo, lamb is very good.
What?
Good.
You said lamp.
I said
It was
lamp.
an Anchorman.
Listen,
reference.
Anchorman.
You missed it. It's all right.
Have you not seen Anchorman?
No.
I don't even want to hear the attitude from you about movies that I haven't seen. You don't.
The foundation.
You really trying to take a high ground on
man,
movie
you guys act like
scene?
the Matrix. When I like the Matrix, this shit really better be as mind blowing as.
Dude,
Dude, are you kidding me? It's the most mind-blowing movie you'll
I
ever see.
can't
in your life.
believe. Baffanculo, eh? Che cazzo di affare that you don't see the Matrix Revoluzione?
No,
The
forget
Matrix Revoluzione.
Forget about Revolution. You just see Matrix.
What is the first one?
Matrix.
What is the second one?
Revolutions.
What is the third one?
Fuck, I don't know, but that's the reason why I don't know
Resurrection.
is because
No,
it's
I
like,
just threw it out there.
it might be actually be.
Oh, is it?
Maybe.
Who's
Matrix
Resurrection?
Revolution. I don't know.
Yo, but before we
Some
start,
expert.
real quick.
I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, bye, Jack. Thanks for your contribution. Real quick, TV's done, guys. Some big
What?
announcements this week in television.
Like what?
Conan getting a slashed half hour,
Which is going to be better for Conan.
but it's a sign. It's a sign of the
right, look.
times.
But
Now-
then what are they going to do with that other half hour?
Let's just put some other shit there. But meaning, when I say TV's done, I mean not. I don't mean like we'll stop watching shows.
No, you mean the way that we consume TV.
Traditional format of TV, meaning watch it at 9, etc. If it doesn't go to streaming, whatever networks don't go to streaming, will fucking.
Conan O'Brien losing a half hour was the tipping point for you?
No, not. Well, actually, yeah, it's something bigger than it is. I know it sounds funny, but it is something bigger than it is. It's a major late night person in a major late night slot admitting defeat.
No, he's not. Well,
What is he, fourth or fifth on like the depth chart? Of
How
radio
long has he
hosts?
been there? It's more about
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
institution.
Conan is the best in late night. He has been since the 90s, dude. He's been around for so
would-
long.
I wouldn't say that.
Dude,
Marco,
Conan.
You said Conan's the.
Nah, bro.
I mean,
I
saying he's
wouldn't
like
think-
better than Kimmel?
I
Yeah,
think he's better than Kimmel.
but-
He's better than Kimmel. He's better than Fallon.
Yeah,
The
what?
best in terms of what?
But yeah, what is the barometer here?
Consistency and fucking funny. He's so fucking funny.
He's funnier than Kimmel.
When he does the
Why did his ratings stink?
Sure, he's funnier than Kimmel, but Kimmel's better at that job.
Sure, Kimmel's better at the prime time, doing everything he has to do in that prime time spot. But Conan has his own fucking corner, and he's so fucking funny. Have you ever seen him do the remote pieces?
Half
when
a
he goes to
corner.
like half a corner.
Look, yes, he's funny. They're doing the remote pieces because nobody's watching the show. But again, late night in general is suffering.
He has like 1 billion something views on YouTube. Everybody's watching that shit on YouTube.
And that's what they're doing. They're putting those pieces on
Yeah.
YouTube. And why is everybody watching things on YouTube? Key and Peele, nobody watching on TV. Everybody watching on YouTube. And all these shows, even SNL, nobody watches fucking SNL. If a sketch does well, you'll see it on Huffington Post. You'll see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
The point is, everything is trending towards.
Yeah, but we've known that for a
Cutting
while.
the cord. We get it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, okay, we know that fucking the iceberg is gonna break for a while. This is the first big crack. Not the iceberg, the ice cap. This is like a major crack. When what is it? Fox cut 2 shows that were doing decently.
Yeah, and then
Brooklyn
NBC
Nine-Nine.
picked one of them up.
NBC picked one because they're fucking dying. Nothing's on NBC. Like, think about that. That's how shitty your TV channel is doing. Is you're picking up a show, another TV channel.
Nah, but that's
canceled.
like Lauren Michaels. Like that's his squad. Like that's Andy
Sure.
Samberg. Like I think that was supposed to go to NBC in the first place, and then Fox
Sure,
came
but
through
they're
and
struggling.
wrote
We're
the
talking about
check.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah.
And then what's it called? Just got picked back up. Tim Allen's show just got.
Which makes fucking no
Tool
sense.
Time? Or different
No.
one?
No,
So
different one.
excited. Oh, you're talking about Tool Time?
JTT?
Home Improvement?
Wait, do you guys
Tim
disagree
Allen-
that this is
Tim
what's
Allen
happening with
has-
Joe?
I
Listen,
I think we all agree, but I think
I'm
we're all
just-
just shocked they took Conan O'Brien and
Yeah.
shortened his time
Like,
for you to
listen,
be like,
let's be honest.
What the fuck? This is happening.
I'm not saying that we've been discussing this for a while. Yes, of course it's been happening. What I'm saying is you're going to see major events that make you go, oh, boom, this is done.
Still waiting for it. Conan O'Brien doesn't move the needle.
Yeah,
Conan and these 2 shows, but I think Conan's being slashed is
Yo,
bigger
Brooklyn
than-
Nine-Nine
bigger
was a
than
bigger
that.
story this week getting cut than Conan.
I think
felt.
Conan's bigger because you can cancel shows all the time, but a late night spot getting
I think
cut in
because
half.
Conan comes from the comedy world, you're more in tune with that world.
Honestly, I
No,
don't,
he
I don't
hates
even
that
care
world,
about it.
yeah.
But I don't even watch it. What I'm saying is, it's not Conan being cut in half. It's a late night spot. It's like imagine
channel is
Yeah,
it
but it's a
on?
late night spot
cut
on
in half.
TBS. If it was
on
Kimmel
TBS?
or Tonight Show,
TBS
then it would
barely a
be-
real channel.
then it would be
That'll happen.
huge.
That'll happen.
You think
this
that-
is, what I'm saying is this is the first. It's like the first crack in the boat. You know what I mean? It's the first hole, and eventually the other holes are going to start pouring in. Dude, I
It's
don't
not
even,
the first.
Well,
it's like
here's
the
the
Comedy
thing.
Central,
though.
2 more years.
Here's the thing. Well, Comedy Central's really struggling.
2 more
They
years.
don't have. You mentioned Key and Peele. That was the last big thing they had.
Right.
The difference between now, what's happening now, and what was happening when for the last 5 years, when Netflix has really risen to be what it's been, which I would say is the more impactful change to TV. It's like the rise of streaming and Netflix and all this shit.
Right.
But now, I think what's going to happen is short form content. So, like you said, Conan's cutting down to a half hour. Now, whether that's because they're trying to save money or they're slowly going to cut him down, whatever. But you also got to remember that everybody's consuming shit on their phone.
Yeah.
And we're used to quick fucking content. If we're on Instagram or if we're on Twitter, it's got to be like that. Boom, 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 the way we consume media. And so now I think there's going to be a lot more short form, 10 to 15 minute fucking content. Like
10
shows.
15 minute isn't even short form. The content doesn't need to be short form. It just needs to be accessible. What the internet is accessible whenever you need the distraction. I asked my nephew, I said, hey, put on the game. He goes, what channel's on? I go, ABC. He goes, what's ABC?
You have a nephew? Oh, shit.
My cousin's kid. I don't know, second cousin, whatever that is.
doesn't count.
But my point
Schulz?
is, that doesn't count, fine. But my point is is if, for example, like even this show, we'll have thousands of people watch a 2-hour sometimes or an hour and a half podcast with 3 cameras
Right.
on their phone. You guys do it all the time with the Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club gets bigger ratings. What's it called? Brilliant Idiots gets bigger ratings than TV shows. It's just accessible. You got to make it accessible for them, man. And if it's not accessible, they die.
Yo, I watch a lot of Deezus Samero, and I never watched that shit on TV.
Nobody watches
That
it on
shit is
TV.
I watched it on YouTube.
I used to watch it on TV.
You're the only person that knows Vice has
It
a
was
TV
nice. It
channel.
was 11, 11:30. It was nice to get the pizza.
Oh, you
show.
watch it live? You were saying
I
you
used
watch
to
it live?
I watch a little
I
Vice
never-
live.
I never
Samero
watched
guy.
it live.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's
I'll
like,
tell you what. I'll even do you one further. It's crazy. So I took a long car ride this weekend, and I threw a bunch of shit on my iPad.
Yeah.
Right. And
While you were driving, you were watching shit on your
no,
iPad?
it was for
I
my
had
wife.
an Uber that was watching.
It's for my wife, so I can listen to shit and not have her actually talk to me. Right.
Right,
So-
right. Your pregnant wife. What a nice
Right.
guy you are.
Yeah.
You piece of garbage. You piece of gabaragool.
But if your app doesn't let you do the offline download, like I went to HBO to see if I could download some, couldn't. HBO doesn't offer it, so I was over to Netflix because Netflix lets you do it.
Right.
And so now like there's new shows that are downloaded on the app, and it keeps you going with that. Right.
That's
And
a good one.
all the TV channels, all their like online apps, they don't let you do that.
No.
I can't go to FX. I can't go to Comedy Central and be like, oh, let me download this. Let me watch this on the train. Not like that.
That's the thing. What you're describing is what I just said.
I'm just saying, it's
Access.
accessible. Yep.
And why wouldn't they make it accessible? It makes no fucking. I guess they have deals with the cable networks or whatever.
That's
That's
right.
dying too. But like, YouTube TV could potentially save it. because it's all these channels that are available right through your phone. But you still got to be able to watch it whenever you want to watch it. The fact that my nephew didn't even know what fucking channel ABC was. And all he watches is YouTube videos of people playing video games or these other types of content, you know. It's like, I think it's a really exciting time, especially for content creators. We no longer qualify a show based on the network. It can be anything. Dude, Marriott. I was talking to this girl on Raya, and she's coming to film a show made by Marriott. She's like, it's really cheesy. It's fucking corny, this, that, the other. But, like, there's no reason why a major corporation like Marriott couldn't hire you to write a brilliant script, and it takes place in the hotel. It could be a fucking murder mystery. It just happens to take place.
Right,
Maybe not a murder happens in a hotel.
Right.
But
And maybe there's built-in advertising into
Branded
the story.
content.
Branded content.
Branded content.
Yeah. That's what we're about to see, like, I think in a couple months, actually.
Apple's
We're about to
to-
see Apple unroll some crazy shit.
So good shit, not the Pharrell show that bombed?
No, they signed a deal
the
with...
Pharrell
The
show?
app, what was that fucking... It was the app show? Didn't they do it?
No, that was Will.i.am.
Yeah, Will.i.am.
That was, that was...
Gary V, right?
Yeah, Gary V. That was the... it's basically Shark Tank, but for apps. It was called Planet of the Apps.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, that didn't do well.
Yeah, it
No,
was trash.
but that was like a trial run just to see what they could do. And I think the idea of everybody has an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
So everybody who has an iPhone can watch your content, right? So they have a deal with Dr. Dre about his life story turning it into a TV show.
Right.
They have a deal with they're adapting some big fucking franchise. They want to do like the next Game of Thrones. Everybody's trying to get the next Game of Thrones. But the fact that Apple's now in the game of making TV programming is fucking insane.
Or even like
And they're just gonna buy out every.
they bought out
They could buy out
Carpool
Netflix.
Karaoke, right?
Yeah.
James Corden had that show,
That's right.
and his bits got popular on YouTube, not on his show.
Exactly.
And Apple cut the check,
Use
and
that
now
as
Apple
leverage.
gets exclusive Carpool Karaoke. That's what you're saying. Content creators, you can put something on
My feeling
YouTube,
is
blows up, and
fuck
you're gonna get a check.
exclusivity. Do YouTube.
No, get the bigger check from Apple.
No. Look, get a check. I'm not saying don't take a check. What I'm saying is if you're Apple, use a platform everybody can access. Like,
But how does that get them to use their product?
fuck it. Like, make it more seamless
No,
than that.
you're thinking about this from
Apple Music.
You're
Like,
thinking about this from like a creator standpoint, not from a business standpoint.
no, I'm thinking from business. Like, think about Westworld. Perfect example, right? Like, this episode, perfect example. The more people that are watching your show, the more access you have to them, right? So now instead of just making shows in a vacuum, you're making shows the whole world. You know what? Why YouTube makes money? YouTube is Westworld. YouTube loses $400 million a quarter. Every quarter, there was $400 million a quarter. Why is that worth it? Because Google gets to categorize interest. They know what you like to watch. They know what you like to watch. They know what you like to watch. And they crunch that data and they sell it to advertisers and all this shit.
Right. So why would Apple ever do anything in conjunction with Google? Never gonna happen. YouTube's owned by Google.
Yep.
And Apple and Google.
I guess what I'm saying, you don't have to put it on YouTube, but put it on somewhere where even someone with an Android could still watch the show and just mine that information. Do what they're doing with Westworld. Hey, come to the park, enjoy yourself, fuck whatever you want, and we're gonna get every single bit of fucking data that comes out of you
Yeah,
and
but that's
figure out
like a bad
exactly
look
how
right
you
now
act.
because of what happened with Zuckerberg and Facebook and the whole thing.
Just don't
not
sell
gonna
the data to Russia. But
Yeah.
I mean, the game right now is data, right? Like we're
Well,
living.
that's how Netflix creates their content. They literally just look at data and go, "We'll make a show with this and this because people like this and people like this."
House of Cards, right?
House of Cards. People liked at the time Kevin Spacey, not anymore, and
Like him more.
David Fincher, and they were like, and politics. People were watching politics documentaries, Kevin Spacey movies, and David Fincher. They were looking to make their first original programming, and they're like, why not just combine the three?
So, and this is why they have an advantage over Amazon, right? Because Amazon knows you like paper towels, but they don't know what type of TV shows you watch.
But here's the
But
thing.
Amazon Videos.
Now they're
No,
getting
now,
into it.
now,
It's
but
building.
but
Now
here's
they're
the thing.
building it, but Netflix has a massive amount of data. We're talking about like
I was
what?
just having this conversation with someone. They've never released their like
numbers.
They never released their numbers. They'll just say like broad big numbers, right? But if they actually released like the real numbers that they have, it's specific to every single one of them. Like it's fucking crazy. People are gonna freak out if they ever find that.
It's not, for example, it's not.
They know exactly when you tune away,
Yeah.
exactly what you switch to, probably exactly what you're doing right after. You know, like it's fucking
Do
crazy.
you know what the CEO of Netflix said?
Which things you jerk off to.
That's fine.
He goes.
Who hasn't?
Netflix?
Wait, you've never jerked off to Netflix?
No. Don't you have all that kid Netflix on your shit?
Yo, man, next time.
What kid Netflix?
Yo, he made some bullshit ass lie. He's like, "Oh, my nephew has my password
No,
to
not
my
my
fucking."
nephew.
He's got a niece. He's got an actual
No,
niece.
no.
Not a made up one.
Not a fake niece.
Yeah. Not a third cousin.
Okay.
All right, the show.
All right,
Let's talk
Italian.
about
I'm
the
going to
show.
need you to keep this same energy, Italian. Not like you guys pretend family members are family members.
Touche.
I was trying to do the math because I was like, Greg doesn't have a kid. What is he talking about?
Oh, my God. Okay. I guess the point, what were we saying?
I think we should move to Westworld.
Oh wait, but first,
What?
hang on.
Yeah.
We got to talk about something.
Go.
So I wasn't here last week.
Yeah.
First of all, the This Is America. I was
Yo,
waiting,
man, I dropped
dude.
the ball, man.
Dude,
I
I
dropped
was
the ball.
waiting.
You didn't drop it. You punted
for
it
you
in
to
the
pick it up.
stands.
I'm gonna tell you.
I was
something.
talking to the
listen
speaker, dude, as
I
I
run back
listened.
and listen to every episode that we
Yeah.
record. I couldn't listen to that one. Shamed.
Why?
It's just sitting there.
Oh,
in
no,
my
you've
podcast.
had- no, you've had worse
I
moments than that.
Shut the fuck up.
Coming back with the heat.
Yo,
back
it was an
that was the one
alley-oop.
I was the most disappointed in.
Yeah,
You had the
that was
alley-oop
one I
right
was
there.
most
You
What was his
disappointed
take?
in.
What was
I
his
had
take?
he didn't have a
Nothing.
take.
This
I had
was
no
his take.
take.
I like,
Wait,
I
this was
like
his
what's
take.
going on in the background.
I had no take.
This was his take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing.
You brought it up too. You were like, "Oh, you see the This Is America video?
Yes.
Yeah, what'd you think of it?"
Fuck.
I don't think
Yeah.
anything. I just like watching it.
I just do these things. They tell me to watch it. I watch it.
Thank you
just
for your
like watching-
contribution,
Yep.
Haney.
Yep. I'm surprised you guys invited me back.
I don't
this
think it
week.
meant anything.
But
If
listen,
it's any
let's-
consolation, a lot of people said they liked the celery episode of Flagrant 2 with you and Wax.
Great. Fantastic.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
You win some, you lose some. Second of all, apparently you guys ran into someone here.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so I've
So
told
tell
this
me the story. I haven't
Okay.
heard the story.
So I've told this story in Brilliant Idiots, but for those of you who haven't heard it, real quick, we ran on our way out of here after last week's episode. Jack is not here. We are leaving, and we bump into Premium Pete, who has just done an episode of the Premium Pete Show with Adam Richman. Adam Richman is the guy who did the very popular show Man vs. Food. I think it was on the Food Network.
Yep.
Correct.
And basically, what he would
Travel
do is
Channel.
Travel Channel.
Yeah.
He would basically what he would do is he would go around to all these different places that have these like almost food competitions within the restaurant. Not competitive eating, but like if you can eat this massive 4-pound burger, you get your name on a wall. You don't have to pay for it, etc. And he would go around the country and basically try to eat these things.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get some food. It's late night. And I just say, hey, Adam, do you got a recommendation for like some food around here, like some cool spot that we wouldn't know about? And he goes, yeah, I got you. Don't worry about it. Okay, check it. So we got Cienfuegos, great restaurant. You just asked for the off-menu ropa vieja. And he goes, if you don't like that one, just go to 5 Napkin Burger, but first get 3 bananas, and then you just hand the banana to the waiter, and then the waiter is going to give you the off-menu sushi. And then he goes, and there's one more. If you go to a loading dock on the west side, you just walk by some boxes and stuff like that, and then you're going to walk through, and there's going to be a restaurant called El Sabroso. And then we're like, all right, bet, thank you so much. So we leave. Try to go to Cienfuegos. Walk in, sit down, looking at the menu. Waitress,
Order it.
Waitress comes over. She goes, do you guys need a minute? We go, absolutely not. We know exactly what we'd like from this place. We want the off-menu ropa vieja. She goes, this is a vegan restaurant. Okay? Facts. Then Haney goes, even the meatballs?
I lost it. I was dying.
He wasn't giving up. He wasn't giving up, son. Because even the meatballs, she goes, yes.
Define vegan.
Even the meatballs, right? So she's like, you guys want to wait a second? Now, we knew there was something a little fucked up
He's
because
fucking with you.
they only sold rum, right? And we're like, all right, this is weird, but maybe it's a rum bar, this, that, whatever. All right, let's get out of here. So we go, you know what? We're not going to eat here. Let's go to 5 Napkin Burger. Start walking around the East Village looking for a bodega that sells bananas, right? I should, mind
pretty
you,
easy task.
mind you,
Oddly,
it's
it wasn't hard.
wasn't that hard. I mean, we are in the West Village, you know what I mean? Big Latino population. They like
East
the
Village.
bananas and East Village, whatever. They
West
like,
Village, not so much.
That's true. Well, they like different bananas. So, that's a gay joke.
Marco, I just got sprayed so hard.
It really took you.
on my
It really took you a full 10 seconds to figure that out.
Stop.
What is that?
Yo,
It was
son,
just funny the way you said it.
stop smoking weed before the podcast. Son. I mean,
It took you
great.
all 10
Son.
minutes. No, I heard it. I got it. But then when you
Bro.
reinforced it, it was good. I like
I
how you
know.
did that. You're making up for those bad Italian jokes.
Thank you, man.
All right.
All right. Fuck, dude. You're wet like
Yeah,
a bowl
dude.
of scallopini. We got him. He's fucking with it. Let's go. All right? Fucking A. Out here.
Damn. It's fucked up.
All right, we ready?
All right, so we got the bananas.
Okay, so we go into a bodega, right? Not a bodega. We go into like a fruit shop. For whatever reason, it's open at 11:30 at night.
A fruit shop?
No, like a fruit
Like a
smoothie
smoothie
place.
shop.
Okay,
Oh.
we walk in, 3 guys, right? We go, sir, we're gonna need 1 banana each. Now, not even realizing how fucking weird that is that 3 grown men are walking around
at 11 o'clock at night
11:30.
looking for a
then
banana
then the
each.
guy's like, you want like 6 or 12 or something like that? And we're like, no. We'd like 3 bananas, 1 banana each. So we get 1 banana each.
Not the best looking bananas.
Fucking spotted, look like a Bahamian pig. Horrible, right? Walk to 5 Napkins Burger. No, drive 5 Napkins Burger. Walk in. Now, hostess looks at us. I look at the hostess. I wink at her. Take out the banana. Now, because I'm assuming this hostess knows we want
Everyone's
to
in on
get
it,
the
yeah.
fucking sushi, right? What's really happening is I'm sexually assaulting this hostess, right? Like that's what's really going on, right? She gives us a fucking seat. We're sitting down there. Waiter comes over. Hey guys, how you guys doing? Yeah, can I get you some drink to start? We go, no. This is what you can do. You can take this banana right here and bring us what the banana brings us. We got the bananas. It's 3 of us. Bananas. We got the bananas. He goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I go,
Yeah, you do.
I go, exactly. I go, yeah, you do. It's the bananas. We want the sushi. So here's the banana. I hand him the banana. Takes the banana. Just holds on to it. He goes, but honestly, what do you guys want to eat? I can't get any sushi. I go, are you telling me there's no sushi?
Yo,
He
the
goes,
best way.
Yeah.
You want me to like cut this up for you?
Yeah. He goes, you want me to cut this up for you? I go, no, I don't want you to cut this up for me. What I want is the off-menu sushi. That's why we brought in the bananas. He goes, this is a burger restaurant. That's why it says 5 Napkins Burger on the outside. We're like, okay, yeah, you got a good point there, fine. Fucking, we didn't go to El Sabroso.
We're hungry.
We're hungry.
At
Yo.
that point, we're just like,
So he's totally fucking with you.
Wait for it. Next day, we get a message. It's Marco. It's a screenshot. What is it a screenshot of? A fucking loading dock with El Sabroso, the real restaurant.
The only one.
The only one that was real
Was
was the
we
one
go.
on the fucking loading dock.
So the first 2 were tests?
I don't know.
we have no. Maybe he was out of touch. Maybe he's out of touch. Maybe San Francisco
look,
So you
wasn't
got-
always a vegan.
You got a little
restaurant.
Adam Richman story. Did you work on that show?
I worked one day in Boston on an episode of that.
Okay.
And,
Man versus food or
Man versus food.
yeah.
This
What was he?
before-
What was really hard to do out there? Some ginger puss?
I'm trying to remember. It was some.
Fucking Boston Tea Party pussy. Some fucking throw your
All right,
throw
Marco.
your,
Now I feel you.
throw your
Now,
fucking
yeah.
English breakfast tea into
All of
the
a sudden, it's
fucking
not so
river.
funny.
Dude, are you really personalizing the fucking Boston? Dude, are you kidding me? What would you rather eat? What would you rather eat? Be honest. What would you rather eat? Tyrannosaurus Rex chuchi? Or
God.
some ginger fucking pale see-through like veins you could see through her. Wearing a Van Halen shirt, fucking bootcut jeans,
Oh, so many boot
Dude, you're literally describing my cousin right now.
bootcut jeans, some fucking low-cut Doc Martens. Saying she's like, Ma, come on, Ma, we'll fucking watch the Pats later.
All right, you worked on that show one day.
One day, yeah.
What did you do?
What?
What was the episode?
I was just a PA on it, but it was a great show to work on because we got a bunch of free food, good food.
Yeah.
Got to meet him for a little bit. Seemed like a chill dude, and then
Just
like
lie left and right.
yeah, and then shortly after he went off on some dude on Twitter and got fired from the job.
Right. He told him to slit his wrist in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a feeling once you guys got to the banana part, I think he was fucking with you, dude.
I mean, on some level, I really respect it because it takes a certain type of person to prank someone and not be there for the reward.
Unless he does it a bunch and like the people that are at those places. Like, what if the banana guy at the banana place is like, after you guys left, he's like, fucking Adam got these guys again.
Oh, fuck. You
I
think?
don't think he sends that many.
No,
people
he
with
wouldn't
the
know which
bananas.
banana place you went to. But
Yo, he
it's
sold
just
it.
fucking hilarious. Also, just a general rule of thumb: never get the off-menu sushi anywhere.
Listen,
that's a
it
good point.
I think
wasn't
they just
about-
have
it
like
wasn't
like
about
on the rare
food.
occasion that someone's gonna bring in a banana, they just have raw fish like sitting around. Like, what the fuck?
It wasn't about the food. It was just, I guess, about
Yeah.
The experience.
Adam Richman
In
was like,
fairness,
"Hey,
there
go
was
here
a
and try
tuna burger
this."
on the menu.
Okay.
Yeah, dick.
So it could have been like the good tuna.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
good, delicious
but
tuna.
it's like it's New York. Anything's possible.
Sure.
Right?
Sure, Margo.
Anything except ginger cunt.
Guys, you know it's not possible. What's not possible? What's not possible? Alex been in this room way too long.
He's starting to go crazy.
Bless you, my friend. God bless you.
All right.
I know.
What's not possible is for Jim Delos to stay alive. Let's pivot to Westworld. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say best episode of the series so far.
I would say probably the best episode of the whole. Oh, you said the series or the season?
The series.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right.
What did you like about it the most?
I just found myself locked into it the whole time. I never looked at the phone. Always during Westworld, I at some point look at my phone, get a little bored. I was locked in the whole time. It was just one of those things like, I look down at the clock, I'm like, oh shit, there's 3 minutes left in this episode? Wow.
Yeah.
That was the first time I watched an episode of Westworld where that happened.
Can I ask one question really quickly?
Yep.
Have we seen a single sex scene in this season?
Season?
No.
Wasn't that like the orgy with the brother after he's like, oh, you're a robot?
But
Let's
they
fuck.
didn't-
Yeah, we
But they
didn't see it
didn't
though.
fuck.
We
That's
didn't see
true.
it.
Like this, we're talking about last season. Every episode,
Well, and Thandie Newton was naked in every
Dandy
scene.
was naked in every scene. Every episode naked.
I think it's supposed to be like the reason why we haven't seen the naked is because the robots are rebelling and they have their own free will supposedly, and the whole reason why they were naked the first season is because they didn't have that.
I mean, they
Right.
were like at war.
No, this is an HBO thing, man. Game
mean,
of Thrones,
are at war the whole
the
time, but
nudity
they have
has
time
gone
to-
down
But
every
this is
season.
like a hostage
It's also
situation.
it's also this. If you notice, Khaleesi was naked almost all first season.
And
As
then
soon as
she
the
was
show gets
like,
big,
yeah.
she has the fucking
have
leverage
some
to
leverage,
say,
and you're like,
"I
I'm
don't
not
want to
doing
get
it."
naked anymore."
But we've already seen it.
You've already seen it, but
That's what
don't
I
you
don't
want to see it again?
understand.
No, the whole first season was about people's fantasies, so that's obviously going to include a lot of sex.
Right.
There's no way that wasn't going to happen.
Right.
Now we're in a pretty serious hostage situation, and I don't know why we would work sex into it.
Yeah,
For
it just
anything.
hasn't. There's been a lot going on.
Yeah.
But going back to this, I would say that we've actually learned more. So the kind of way it's been, and for this show, especially the start of the season, is like ask a bunch of questions, no answers. Right? I feel like we got more answers in this episode than in any other episode, other than like the
Huge.
finale.
Some big reveals.
Yeah, big reveals, and I think big reveals for the ultimate end game of this season. Like, all right, we can break it down, but I think this is all pointed to Ford coming back. Like, I think the whole Delos thing is to show that it didn't work the first time,
Ford is going to.
and Ford is going to prove that he. I think we've heard Ford through these other hosts, like throughout the season, like the kid and where did we see it again? Where he was talking?
girl.
The
The
girl.
Mexican girl.
Yeah. I think, and if you remember, Bernard talked about earlier in the season how hosts near each other can communicate through
Yeah.
what do you call it?
I don't know, but I know what you're talking
And
about.
I think Ford has figured out how to do that, and he can jump. He's literally just hopping around the park, jumping to different hosts and controlling. And his consciousness is in that cloud or whatever. Like he's literally.
So he's not. There's not a person made for him yet.
I think there's a person made for him, and maybe that's at the end of this thing, or maybe the Abernathy, the Dolores' dad,
Who
has
they made a
something
big
that
deal
he
going
needs to
looking
get.
for him.
Yeah.
All right.
Real quick, I think what's in Abernathy, or what's no longer in Abernathy, whatever the fuck it
data?
is, I think that's different than Ford. I also think the end is different than Ford. I think the idea of Ford coming back and him basically, perfecting that model that they, wasted so much time trying to do on Delos, I think he sabotaged Delos. So I think Ford, the whole time, they're trying to recreate him. Every single time, Ford is throwing a wrench in the plan because it's like, I can't let this data get out here, right? Isn't that Ford's big issue? Is like he doesn't
that would make
trust.
sense.
Well,
He doesn't trust the corporate people to run the park because they're not going to do it right. And Ford is like kind of like a what is the word I'm looking for?
He's got a God complex.
Not only God complex, but he's like a truth seeker in a way. Like something he wants something real in this park.
Well,
He's not doing this for corporate greed.
no.
He's doing it for
we know Delos. We know that Tessa Thompson is doing it for corporate. Like she's representing the.
She's doing it for
side.
corporate greed. We know that Delos is doing it for corporate greed, and he's like, if I actually let this technology get out there, it's over. It's done.
Right.
So let me do whatever I can to not get it out there. Now, if I have to die, and I know I figured out this recreate your consciousness technology.
Oh, he definitely figured out.
Boom. So that's how he comes back.
Yeah.
So when Bernard is in that,
Hot take, Jack. Hot take. Fiery hot take.
when
The
Bern-
Ford coming back,
Oh yeah.
Ford's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
thought it
I
was.
think we talked about
but
that.
because of the
in
Delos
the cloud?
consciousness,
Yeah, that's why.
I think
So-
I thought it was pretty clear.
So when Bernard was in that lab and
like
he's
it.
flashing back to present time and when he was there when he killed all the people there, right? He stole one of those little red balls.
What is that?
That's like consciousness, I thought.
Yeah.
I thought those little red balls were like the consciousness that they're like making off the people that they're doing. And he's like, Ford sent me
Ooh.
here. I thought that
I don't think
I
consciousness
interpret
works that way.
I interpret that as you think really?
Let's roll with it. Let's roll with it. What, consciousness isn't a
I
ball?
No, I don't think it is.
It's not a tiny
Those
little
little snow
red
cones?
ball?
Those-
Yeah.
I thought maybe he
Those
had like
Rita's
a knot
icy
in his
things.
back and it was like a lacrosse ball.
Yeah.
You rub
Just
it out.
rub it out.
You
Yeah,
yours
yeah,
at the
yeah,
gym?
Yeah.
Anyway, he took the ball, he put it in his pocket.
Yeah.
I thought that was Ford's consciousness.
Oh,
You
so
think it was just lying on the floor?
hold up, son.
No,
hold up, son.
it was in like a thing.
Hold up, son.
Oh,
There was a
and-
group
and
of
the-
them.
There's a whole group of them, and there was a few of them there.
And guess what?
And he took a specific one.
And guess
and
what
put it in
he's
his
done?
pocket.
He's put his consciousness in that little boy that they killed. He put his consciousness in maybe that little Mexican girl. He put his consciousness maybe in multiple.
He didn't have to put his consciousness in those things. He could have programmed them to.
Here's what I'm saying.
Fair enough. But real quick with that, he said Bernard said multiple times in the episode. Sometimes Ford would make me go to these different places.
Yeah.
So he made him go to that secret site,
He made him
scoop
go
the
there.
consciousness, boom, put it in a new body. Wow.
I don't know if it's
Wow.
Ford. That would be my guess. Obviously, I haven't said that's my guess. That was Ford's consciousness or whatever.
I think he's literally going shoo, shoo.
You think he's
just
just-
hopping around? He's figured out a way.
Conscious.
To
how
use
So
to-
what is
that.
that red ball? What is that little?
We don't know yet.
We don't know. I think it.
I don't think it's consciousness.
You
I
think
think
it's-
I think that makes more sense.
But what could it be? Some putanesca?
That's like Spanish.
That's not a sauce. Putanesca.
What?
Linguini putanesca. That's a sauce. I swear to God, that's a Spanish sauce.
So anyway,
He's had enough.
Bro.
I was really surprised that Elise was still alive. Didn't see that one coming.
Elsie.
Elsie. Yeah.
Elise Elsie.
Yeah. Not the best actress.
She really is
Not great.
No. She kind of pointed out, like,
She looks like Marco.
so my whole thing is a lot of critiques of
Yeah, a little bit. All right. She could be your sister.
people who don't like
Buzz.
Westworld.
Spaghetti alla putanesca.
Yeah, you like.
Bro. They don't got that up there in Rhode Island?
We don't eat that shit. I don't like capers. I don't like capers.
Okay, go.
The people who, like my friends who don't like Westworld, their critique is it's corny and the lines are like, super melodramatic. And my whole defense is like, yeah, that's usually when the hosts are talking and that's supposed to be like written
supposed to
dialogue
be,
for them. And it's
yeah.
supposed to be. This was the first time that like
She delivered.
she
the line.
delivered
She's
them and I was
human.
like, all right, this is just.
Was there anything? Can you think of the line? Sorry.
It was just her initial interaction with Bernard in that first scene in the cave. I was like, come on.
If we're nitpicking, I really didn't like her energy when they got out of the cave.
Yeah.
It feels like they filmed that on 2 different days.
I'm
and
sure,
She
yeah.
and don't
And
get
she
me wrong.
what? She farted?
No. She forgot the energy of the other scene.
Like
Like
you're like, and she fart.
Yeah,
Anyway.
It felt like watching like an old episode of 24.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
the
For
way
a
she was
second, it was
acting.
kind of. That was the only part of the episode that I was like, all right.
Is Bernard playing her?
I don't think
She's
she knows
just
what
like,
the
here's
fuck
the
she's
thing.
doing.
I don't want to trust, but I'm gonna trust you.
This did
no
establish-
more lies.
This did establish
Is he
what
playing
we
her?
have been talking about, which is that Bernard is. Season 1, the unreliable narrator was Dolores, right? Season 2, the unreliable narrator perspective, we can call it because there's multiple narrators in the series, is Bernard. We don't know what time he's in. That thing in the cave we know is in the week or 2 weeks between the massacre and when he wakes up on the beach. But he's jumping through time. Like when he saw himself, he's literally like
He's before.
he's
she
hopping
explained it, right? She was like, you don't really understand if things are memories or
Yeah.
actually happening in the moment.
So we don't know that
Yeah.
because when we see Bernard's perspective, we're seeing that as well. So
Also, what is the the gunshot thing that they were talking about?
that's when he killed himself. Season 1,
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
or shot himself. Tried to.
Shall we go into? There's a couple things that we can speculate on now because we have some information.
Yeah.
One, the purpose of Black Hat's daughter.
Yep.
So we were right.
So we confirm that.
We confirmed that it was Black Hat's daughter. She's
Speculated.
there. They meet up on horseback. Why is she there? No, granddaughter.
No, daughter.
That is daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So we know that the mom committed suicide.
Right.
We don't know why.
We don't know why yet, but we can assume. I'm assuming that it's because Man in Black wasn't around because he was.
Or he
Nah.
did some. I think he did some real fuck shit, and she just felt awful being part of it.
I think that there's a whole perception of Delos in the real world that we're not aware of right now.
Sure. Yeah. But at what point? Because we're seeing the early stages of it with Jimmy Simpson, and then, post whatever that fallout is with.
I think
Eric.
Delos has a pretty clean reputation.
No, I don't, because I go back to that line that he had, like, I've had my verdict and I'm here to appeal my jury, or whatever the fuck he
That's him.
said.
I think that's him personally. Because they say in the first season that
first
he's a
season they said that,
philanthropist,
yeah.
and he's like this. It's got this polished resume. And
The idea was
this
like
big
outside of the
company.
world, he's a good. That's what
Yeah.
I took it as.
Yeah,
It's
me
like
too.
he goes there to feel.
Okay.
He goes there to be his true self, but
Yeah.
in the real world, he's this philanthropist,
Right.
nice guy, whatever.
And he might have
But I
done
do
fucked
think-
up shit internally to his own family and the things that the outside world doesn't know about.
Right.
And
Okay.
that what I think is what he's referencing.
I do think he's like the boyfriend who neglects his girlfriend because he's playing Fortnite 24/7. It's like he's gaming the whole time, right?
Yeah, that's right. He's been in the thing.
He's been in the
entire
game, and
time.
so the family's like, "Are you ever going to stop playing this game?"
So maybe that's why she went there just to say hi.
No,
No, it looked like she'd been there before. She's very familiar with
she's
it.
she
been
knows-
doing her own. If you notice, like when she was in the, what was the official name of India World?
Whatever, doesn't matter. India world.
Bengal Park? I don't know.
Bengal City. She had a map. She was looking at something.
Yeah.
I think she's got her own
Quest.
quest. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I can
is
see that.
is this is her quest totally different than everybody else's quest, which is to get to glory or whatever this fucking thing?
We
is?
don't know.
seems like they're all
She
headed-
just said that I'm not trying to leave here. Like when they were like, "Oh, the rescue mission's coming," and then blah blah blah, and
Right.
then we'll get you out of here. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm not trying to leave."
So she and then she serendipitously bumps into her father. You don't think that they're going in the same direction, and that's why they bumped into each other? You don't think Ford pushed them in the same direction? Like this is all Ford's doing,
well,
right?
Here's this.
So this is a huge park.
This
And they end up in the same
she was,
direction.
a day ago, she's in Bengal World,
Yeah.
and now she's in front of her dad, who's been traveling for God knows how fucking long, all the way on the other side of Westworld.
And
Like,
then
it
what-
seemed
and
like
then-
this wasn't just a couple lucky right
And a
turns.
couple things real quick. They said when they were at that train track, he goes, "These tracks are going west or whatever other direction. That's
They
not the
should be
direction.
going north,
They
right.
should be going north. That means other people are trying to go to the glory or whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
We're not the only ones going there,
right.
right? So, and if Ford is orchestrating this whole thing, then he's putting these people here together. Oh, and then
I
there's
think
even
he's-
that line. Remember when Ford goes, "If you're looking forward, you're looking in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Look
When
back."
He says the kid, yeah.
Who's look back? His daughter.
Right.
Whoa!
I think literally Ford is manipulating everything we're seeing unfolding in this season is all part of the Ford game, and he's gonna come out at like the Wizard of Oz at the end of this season, in some reveal as like whatever his end game. We don't know his end game yet.
He's definitely controlling
Is his-
everything that's happening right now.
Is his end game is the end of this season like some kind of singularity thing where I guess it wouldn't really be singularity because singularity is when human and robot minds meet, right?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, moving on. But
Singularity.
I have no idea.
What does that
We'll
even
move on.
mean?
Yeah.
What is it when a real mind and a robot mind means? What is it? I don't
Google it.
How?
it's like there's a theory that
they get
eventually, as a
coffee?
human
I
race,
don't
we'll
understand.
reach singularity, which is when we meld with.
Oh,
robot.
you put like an enhancer in there.
Yeah, but how much of you is the robot and how much of you is the human, and what is the sacrifice that you make to get there?
Oh,
true.
like Johnny Mnemonic.
Guy loves Johnny Mnemonic.
Loves Johnny Mnemonic.
Loves it.
More than anyone. So yeah,
What is this like? Is the end of this season some kind of release of these hosts into the real world? I was reading a theory. So this is based off of movies that existed before. There's Westworld, and then there's a movie called Future World. And apparently in Future World, what happens is it's the same kind of thing. There's a park, and these celebrities and politicians go to the park to visit, and they get killed in the park, and they get turned into hosts, and they get released back into the world into their like prolific positions. And then Delos controls like the real world through those people.
This is in the real movie?
This is in the Future World movie, which is the sequel to the Westworld. So
Holy shit,
how much
that's
of that are they
genius.
including in this? And what if the I don't know, what if the red balls are consciousness of visitors to the park that they're,
Holy shit. So you have these high-powered people come and visit the park. You kill them. You
they
take
leave
their
the park
consciousness.
seemingly.
Oh my God. They
release them
come
back.
back.
Yeah.
You release them back, and then you control the whole fucking world.
And maybe Delos, what they're trying to get out of Abernathy or whatever is some kind of like.
man,
That
I
would be
think you
crazy.
just ruined the whole fucking show for me.
Well, who knows if that just already exists in another thing? So it could be how much do they take from that? But why? That's so juicy. Why wouldn't you take that? What if that's Ford's endgame?
I'm gonna be either disappointed or I'm gonna know the ending. Now, you ruined the whole show for me.
Sorry, bro.
It's all right.
I don't. It's probably not. The creators of the
Hey,
show aren't
man,
going to go some of
that's
this
why
already
we're
out there.
here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed these microphones in front of us and everything.
Yo,
So
we're
we're here to
guys.
talk about this.
Yeah. What do you thought we were just going to talk about? What'd you say?
Okay, all right.
But what did you think that we were going to talk about today? Stradaccini.
That's a big reveal to
Yeah.
reviewing the episode,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. But
All
we
right,
could
so I jumped
also-
ahead, is what you're saying?
Look way.
Oh,
out in front.
literally, the question was,
I
what do you
haven't
think
done
the
it.
end game is?
I actually don't think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
What
there
do you
go.
think's gonna
It's
happen?
just a fucking theory, dude.
I don't know because a lot of people already.
Great hot take, Jack.
We got these mics here in front of us for a reason.
What did you think of This Is America?
Alex, come take my seat.
No, give us some hot shit now, Haney. Let's go.
No, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I feel like you could find holes in that theory.
Sure.
You can find holes in every theory. We can find holes in what's actually going to happen. I think that's a good. If we're going off the idea that those little balls are consciousness, and you can recreate someone's consciousness but still have some control over them, why wouldn't you put them back out there in the world?
Why would you even need to recreate their consciousness though if you have the thing? If you just make them look that way, kill them off, make them look that way, and just control them. You don't need
Well,
consciousness.
because you need them. You need their memories, right? You need
Oh,
to know
true,
what
true,
happened
true,
when they're
true.
People
kids,
around them would be like, what the
how they
fuck?
are with their wife,
You're right,
etc.
you're right,
Right?
you're right.
And then you show him like one thing, and he'd be like, "Looks like nothing to me," and you'd be like,
the
"What the?"
memories.
You need the memories because that's the biggest problem with like making robots that look just like people, right? Eventually, they're not going to know all the shit that the people know.
But it took time.
took time for what?
Yeah,
Like the furthest they got with Jim Delos was 35 days.
took 30 years.
100
Right, unless
35
with his original theories was that Anthony Hopkins was
They're doing it
fucking
on
with it and
purpose.
did it on purpose,
Because he didn't want Delos to have that power because he didn't think that Delos would use that power appropriately.
right?
Which
makes
he's
a lot of
always
sense.
taking the stance of.
And
From
he
the very
doesn't
beginning.
matter. He doesn't mind killing motherfuckers. He killed
No, he doesn't.
Bernard.
He's been killing people for 30 years.
Yeah, or who was Bernard's real name?
Arnold.
He killed Arnold.
Well, Arnold killed himself.
that we know.
No, we saw it. But again, it could be an unreliable perspective. But we did see Dolores kill Arnold, and it was his doing.
Ah, yes.
Because Arnold didn't want the park to actually be open to the public. Arnold wanted to sabotage the whole thing originally, the real Arnold.
Right.
He saw where it was going. We've seen Arnold in that flashback 2 episodes ago, and he sees what could be with the hosts. And I think we're going to end up seeing another flashback of like him realizing how bad it could go, and him trying to put it to an end. And Ford, him and Ford have a falling out. We know that. So
How many episodes?
What are you laughing at?
How many
I looked at
episodes
my
le-
phone to like one of the notes I wrote, and one of the notes I wrote was, "Is the purpose of Westworld to get the baseline for all its guests?"
What is the baseline?
That's kind of what Jack just said.
Would you just type that note now?
No, I had
what
that.
baseline? What does that mean? Baseline.
That's what they kept referring to as for when they were going through the Jim Delos like simulations over and over and over again. The base, it's like, oh, we want that was part of like the dialogue that happened every time it happened.
Dude,
Oh, why are we doing this?
first
Oh,
of
just so
all-
we can get a baseline of how of your humor and this and that.
It's amazing how much more sophisticated you guys are than me when watching this show. You guys are like, are we doing consciousness? Is that what's in the ball? And I'm like, I haven't seen tits in like 3 episodes. Where did tits go in Westworld?
Is it possible I like this episode because Dolores wasn't in it?
What's your beef with Dolores?
I don't know.
kind of annoying,
I'm just
dude.
throwing that out. I'm trying to think of why I like this episode so much. And
Well, there was a lot going on. There was a lot of reveals.
But you know what? It was more. It wasn't as many storylines that they threw in. It was just like a couple.
Yeah.
It was Bernard, Black Hat, and
Yeah.
was that it?
Bernard Blackhat.
And a little bit of the daughter.
No, they had Delos and
But that was
That was like a flashback.
right.
Mhm.
There wasn't like it wasn't jumping all over the place. It was kind of just like more.
But they could do that now, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the idea
Well,
now.
it jumped back and forth in the time.
Yeah.
right, but it was a little easier to follow that. I thought.
I think
Like
they
the
just-
Bernard time because they made it really clear. He's in a blazer and a vest in one. He's in a cardigan and a tie in this other timeline.
Oh, I missed that completely.
Really?
Yeah, I remember like
It was really
I got
like
that.
Yeah.
that was really clear. Like, oh, okay, where you didn't have to guess. You're like, okay, he's in
Just
a
time
different time. And it
I
was-
just
that-
looked at
that
his
was really
hand.
easy.
If his hand is shaking, he's in that. If it's not shaking, he's not.
Yeah, because they established.
Okay,
when
yeah,
he
sure.
spilled the
Yeah.
half and
The
half.
cortical fluid. The half and half.
How good is that cortical fluid? Motherfucker goes a few days without it, it just starts tweaking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what is
That's
cortical
that
fluid?
good.
It's probably like your
half and half.
spinal fluid or something like that, or something that your body like really needs to run.
I do think the refreshing part of not having Dolores, why it was refreshing, is because she's kind of been so far like
So
one
whack.
note, just one note. Like she's just looking for revenge, and she does like last season she was interesting because she would pop between like being. What are you looking at?
I thought this was a spider web, but it's not. It's part of the thing.
I like the one note.
She's kind of bossy this season.
That's the point.
Yeah, but I
She's
don't like
Wyatt.
it. Ladies, don't be so bossy.
I want to see.
And
where
James Marsden's just like
No, because I like
He's
I
just a
like
cuck.
Maeve, and she's bossy.
I don't like Maeve either.
I like,
I like
Maeve.
Maeve.
I just love
It's all right.
Tandy.
I just love Tandy.
Yeah.
Tandy,
Whatever her
Whatever.
fucking name is. She's beautiful. That's it.
gorgeous. What else, guys?
I don't know. Dolores is just like the character is just bitchy. It's mean. It's vindictive. It's like, and I get it. You've been through a lot, so you want to do some payback.
been
but-
getting raped for 30 years.
and now she remembers it.
Yeah.
Ugh,
And
How
she's
would
got-
you feel?
She's got Wyatt in her.
pretty
you know?
raped.
Yeah.
I just don't like Wyatt Dolores. I like regular Dolores.
I
And
got a
she
question.
calls herself Wyatt, and then now you got this fucking.
Everyone's calling her Wyatt. It's weird.
Now you got this like wild Confederate dude who's acting all crazy. You know, they had to handle him, and there was a whole. It's just I don't know.
So Black Hat seems to be there was like a similar scene in the first season, right? In that
As
town.
what?
We know when he rolls up to that town and that crazy dude that Dolores let go is just like running amok.
Mhm.
Wasn't he there in like didn't he do the same shit where he was the bad guy in season 1? And the dude
man, I'd have
what's
to-
the dude that's
That was
with
the
him?
first time he did the bad
What's
shit,
the
right?
Spanish guy that's with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I know what you're talking about.
Lawrence?
Lawrence,
yeah.
right? You know, he did all that shit to Lawrence. Like Black Cat did that to Lawrence, and he killed his wife, just like the guy was going to.
Sure.
And the little girl talked to him then.
Yeah.
Talked to Black Cat like that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like. I feel like
you're
felt
right.
like deja vu. Like,
Yeah.
Except this time he's on the other side. And he's now the good guy. This was almost like he spent the whole first season kind of being the enemy. Now
This
he's
is
the
the
good
character
guy.
turn.
No, but
This is
that's
the
but
character.
he addressed it. He when she then talked to him, he said to her, she said, you know, one good act doesn't make you like a good guy, and he was like very clear, like I'm not here to be a good guy. I'm here to win this game.
Right. And I
So
think
he did that because he wants to get for his objective to win the game. He doesn't give a fuck if they live or die.
I didn't think he was trying to be a hero.
I mean,
Ooh, I don't know.
Then
I
what are you
think
saying?
I think he did do it because he cares about her and he wants to be I think he wants to do what's right. I think he wants to do what's right in that moment because he could have easily gone along with the psychopathic Confederale or whatever the fuck they are, Confederates, and he made a decision to protect his friend, protect his friend's kid, and protect his friend's wife.
but you got to remember that we talked about this in a previous episode. What is that noise?
It's Andrew playing with this thing.
My bad.
Season 1, we see him doing all this fucked up shit. He's playing the game.
Right.
He's trying to trigger traumatic events in the host to trigger some kind of reaction. He gets it at the end when they all rebel.
Do you
Oh,
think
that's
so
what
you
he's
think,
trying to-
That's what I
you
thought.
think he wanted
That's the
this?
way I perceived what he was doing in
He
season
always
1.
wanted something real. He always wanted.
He wanted them to have
stakes.
their. Yeah, he loved the first thing he does in this season when they start, or at the end of last season when they come out of the woods and they have guns. He smiles, and he's like, "Oh, okay, now it's on."
yeah.
Season 1, he was looking for that. He knows that there's something deeper, right? He probably knows Ford is up to some shit. He's been with the company. He's been around this park for 30-something years. He's trying to trigger. That's why he's raping Dolores over. That's why he's killing all the, you know, because he's trying to play the game. He's trying to get deeper. He's trying to get that 100% completion, son.
I think that was pretty clear.
I didn't know that he was trying to do that to trigger this reaction.
Yeah,
I thought this
I didn't know he
reaction
was
was
doing all that
entirely
shit
on
to-
Ford. I didn't
Well, it
realize.
ended up being on Ford, but I think he was trying to figure out. Ford's not telling him. You know, remember in season 1 when they met for that drink?
I mean, why else would you kill a kid, right? Like
Yeah,
he's trying to malfunction.
I think
He's
so.
trying
That's
to make
what
the game malfunction. Huh. And why is he so sure that the game can malfunction? Why is he so sure that they do have these memories? Why is he so sure that
Because
this
he's
is
been
realer
around for
than it
long
is?
enough. He's been around for long enough to know some shit.
Would it have anything to do with Delos? Does it have anything to do with the fact that like he couldn't recreate that consciousness that Delos had, but Delos did remember these certain things? So he's like, if Delos can remember, I mean, up to 35 days, then these memories must be stored somewhere in these hosts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A lot of questions.
Well, we know. So
What is good?
the number of the lab in this one was 16. So there's at least 16, probably even more, other labs that are doing this shit all around the park. But got to be more. So this is like a mass. This isn't just an isolated thing on the park. This is going on everywhere.
So there's 16 other parks?
No, 16 other lab. You know the labs, the underground labs.
All right, but that was a secret one.
Yeah, but there's 16 other secret ones apparently.
Oh, I interpret that as like there's just 16 other labs that they know about but this is a really special one that nobody else did.
Oh, I just thought when they said they specifically pointed out it was Lab 16, right? Did anybody else see
I
that?
didn't catch that.
I mean,
didn't
because
catch
the
that.
shorty Elsie had no fucking clue that it was even
Right.
there. He was just rubbing the limestone, and she was like, "What are you doing? Let's get the fuck out of here."
Right.
What's Delos's purpose for all this? Like Delos is up to something.
Now in present day, or just overarching throughout time?
You mean the company or the person?
The company.
Real quick, sorry, can I ask a question? Why does he can live for 35 days at a time, right?
Yeah.
Why don't they treat him just like any host that's on the park and just give him a new body every 35
Because
days?
the whole thing was he wanted to be like a full-time host where he could leave and not have to get like.
Well, just come back every 30 days. Get your, like, if you're good for 30 days, or is he triggered by events when he goes into the real world and then things fall apart? All I'm saying is if the problem is body and brain decay, just switch yourself out every 30 days and carry the memories on.
It wasn't body or brain decay though. It was actually he was stuttering and like he couldn't. It seemed like everything was just
Fucked up.
fucked up. And I think it's like once you bring him back, you have to bring him back. It's not like he can just remember that and then just go on to the next body in 35 days.
Right, it's starting from
It's-
scratch
yeah, starting
every
from
single
scratch.
fucking
Because they
time.
kept saying, they didn't keep saying, but they said that
Yeah,
The-
they did
the
the observation.
conscious rejected
and
the
did whole
brain.
thing, Yeah.
right?
Ah.
So it took that long for it to get for the body to take over the
new organs.
right.
But this situation, the consciousness is not taking over the brain
The
as an
conscious
organ.
is rejecting it.
Whoa.
Yo,
Like, if you get like a new organ,
Of course,
in your body,
yeah, yeah.
sometimes
Makes
it's just
perfect
that same
sense.
thing.
to answer your other question, when you said what is Delos?
Yeah, like what are they doing?
So that's the thing. On a small scale, we know that they want the data. What
Right.
that data is still under,
Right.
debate, right? It could be like a Facebook where they have all your data or whatever.
right.
In the worst case scenario, it's what Jack was talking about, where it was they could actually have consciousness of these powerful figures, and they're going to put them back into society as hosts to control things even more. That's like the most nefarious situation.
Good
So
word.
that's it.
Good word.
I've been trying to work these words in every now
Like
and
that.
then.
Good
So-
word. That's interesting. Okay. Because I haven't missed that, right? Like they haven't said.
No.
They
This is
just
really.
alluded.
I mean,
No, they haven't revealed the main plot line yet. that's why we watch.
I mean, season one, it was all
Why
about.
we watch.
It was all about in the park. That's why this episode was refreshing because we were actually getting answers about the overall about Delos, right? And I think this season is all about finding out what they're up to and how it relates to the real world and what's going on
Sick.
with this shit between the park and the real world.
When you were watching Celts Cavs the other night, did you ask who won Game 2?
Yo, he's about to flip this fucking table, bro. Bro, did you see the look that he gave? Oh my god, bro. He tucked his top teeth under his
I don't know
bottom.
I don't know.
I've been giving you all the peachy
I know,
jokes,
and
man.
I'm
Why you
telling
coming
you.
at my neck?
I don't know.
I
You're
know,
right.
bro. I know,
I'm sorry.
dude.
I'm sorry.
He's a little bit of.
We
I'm a
got
little on edge.
we're all holding a little bit back after that loss we took today.
Bro, we got destroyed. A lot of you guys
We
might
lost
not
by
know
9.
We got
Yeah,
fucked.
should we explain why I'm in fucking full
Oh, yeah.
basketball
So
with
we play in
white
a
tights on?
basketball league at Basketball City. Shouts to Basketball City and our boy Dave.
Yeah, Dave does a good job,
And
man.
we've been bumming it up this year, man. Just being
No, we
old.
No,
won the first.
hey,
no,
hey.
we're actually our record's still good.
We're 2-2.
Is
I
it-
think
are
we're
we
3 and
2-2?
2.
I thought we only won 2 and we lost 2.
All right, whatever.
Either way, it's kind of sad that we're even debating what. But
Anyway.
listen, we're not bums. We gotta work some shit out.
Son,
Yo, when they coming out with that over 30 league though?
son, I cannot wait.
You know
bro.
what I mean?
I won't
That's
be
what
able
I'm
to be
saying.
in
We
that
gotta
shit.
drop it down. Drop it
We
down.
just talked to
division.
Dave about doing an over 30 league.
What do you even?
We'll play in this league too, but then we'll play in an over 30 league.
Yeah,
Nah,
and we
Jack,
won't.
We'll just say it 30.
Yeah, we're gonna say you're
And
30.
And
Don't
so
worry
is
about it.
Tanner. And so is Bilali. Everyone's over 30. All you 24-year-olds over 30.
Yeah, you're gonna be our ring.
Tanner's got the soul of a 32-year-old.
He really does.
Yeah, he really
I can't
does.
believe that kid is 23 every time I talk to him. Anyway, but yeah, so that's why we're here. In
Did you
fucking
see
basketball
the
shorts.
next week?
Nope.
Again, the Samurais?
We got some Asians.
I've heard
some
some-
Samurais.
No,
next
Oh,
week?
do
they
we?
teased the Samurais before, man.
Yeah,
We're getting
end
the
of
Asians. We're
last
getting an
episode.
Asian fight scene next week.
At the
yeah.
at the very end of last episode, we see the samurai come out of the woods.
Yep.
But I've been
Oh.
specifically not watching the previews because
I usually didn't, but then the one time Andrew yelled at us.
yeah, but
Sam,
Wait,
see,
yo,
you guys
didn't
don't
see that
watch
shit?
previews?
You
I
didn't see
I don't
that?
like the
like to
previews.
watch the previews.
You have to. They're never going to give you any information that's going to ruin it ever.
well, it just
I don't
spoils like
wanna
the
get
idea
it-
that there's even ninja or
No, it gets you
samurai.
excited. It gets
Yeah,
you
me
jazzed
too.
up.
I'm very excited.
I don't know.
But actually, I don't care about the ninjas. Like, I don't understand.
It's
what
like the
this,
show ends and you're like, oh, this sucks. The show ends, but then you get like a minute of like highlights.
Yeah.
I don't want
It
the.
gets me
I'd
all
rather
fired
watch
up.
the game. It's like watching the Sports Center highlights instead of watching the game.
It's
No,
like the game's over, but then you get to watch the highlights right after.
exactly inside the NBA. But it's the highlights of the next game that's about to happen.
I'd rather just take it in fresh.
Listen, I'm fine with that. That's your prerogative. But what?
I got a question.
Okay.
It just hit me. Do you know how the hosts allegedly have free will now?
Yeah.
Right. What was the scene where last week with the guy with Maeve, the Rodrigo?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Rodrigo
Yeah.
Santoro?
Rodrigo.
When he said he wrote that, and he's like, no, he goes, I have my own free will, and he says that line, and then the guy finishes it, and he goes,
Right.
oh, so who has free will now?
Right.
Yeah.
Is Ford really still just controlling them?
No,
They
we-
think they have free will, but Ford
That's
is-
what I think.
is
See,
Ford really
see
still
that's
controlling them?
what we were talking about in episode 1, on this episode 1 of this for the show. We were talking about a lot about free will and what that means, and now the robots have free will.
Maybe they don't.
I don't think
Maybe
they
this
do.
is
They
all-
just
maybe this is
are
what they're
programmed to
to
think
do.
they do.
Okay, that
Dolores is still on a fucking plot arc that's been written for her by Ford.
So
So is everybody else apparently.
exactly. But what we had spoken about, I think it was last episode. I think it was the three of us, right?
Yeah.
Which is how is that any different than all of us?
like your parents, right?
Exactly,
Like
your parents write
that's
a
the
plot arc.
fingerprints is still going to be on him. He could still have free will, but still have certain preferences because he was modeled after this guy and his experience.
We all have certain religious beliefs, and that's because of our parents. We all eat certain food, and that's because of our parents, right? We all like certain sports and certain teams.
Right,
Like
but
you
are you-
like certain teams strictly because your parents were like, "That's the team you're gonna like."
But that
Right, but
doesn't
are
mean
you
that
rebelling
they're-
against that because of your like?
Sometimes you rebel against your parents, and sometimes you do the exact opposite thing just to get back at your parents. So maybe the show is just about like goth kids. Westworld is really about some fucking goth nerds.
Well, what's her name? Did date Marilyn Manson for Evan Rachel Wood?
Really?
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, a
Marilyn
long time.
Manson.
So he's like
racks,
50,
bro.
He's like 50.
Yeah,
She's like,
She's young, isn't she?
she's young.
I thought
20s.
she was a lesbiana.
she was.
She is.
She's a lesbiana.
She was a lesbianiti. Was she lesbianiti?
I think she is now.
Lesbiancini.
Lesbianciolo.
She's lesbian now.
No.
She,
Once you go
Well,
Marilyn,
no, what,
No,
yeah,
no, no, no,
that-
no,
that's
no,
actually
I
a thing.
don't think-
Look
I
at the
don't
people.
think
Look at the chicks that
she-
Marilyn's dated, and then look how many are lesbians.
God, Rose McGowan is fucking.
Yeah.
is she lesbian or she just has the haircut?
She's
You and her
Not
have
a
the
lesbian.
same haircut. There's you too. You and Rose got that buzz, bro. Have you heard the remix between Kanye's Black Skinheads and
Yeah.
oh my god, that's fucking
what's the name of the second song?
and the Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. What, I don't even.
It's just
the name of the
both
song.
super hard bass line,
Yeah.
but boom. Oh my
Yeah, it
god,
is the same
fucking
shit, isn't it?
unreal. Yeah, he kind of woofed that a little bit.
Yeah,
Kind of borrowed.
yeah. Kanye borrowed that one.
You know, Kanye loved to
Didn't
borrow
catch
from the
that.
whites.
Oh, we're going back to this again.
No,
No, we're not.
And then Schultz is gonna tell us how easy rapping is.
Yeah, that shit is mad easy. Rapping? Rap something. Rap some shit.
The broccoli rappe.
Putanesca. I like to drink a fresca. Boom! Italian. I rapped in a whole nother language. Huh? What? Marco, what? Marco.
These jokes are not good.
I'm just saying.
It's not good.
Jack,
Bro,
can you
you're-
explain
bro.
the timeline to me?
Yeah, go.
William, beginning of season 1, he's a little bitch,
Yep.
right?
At least 30 years
Logan's
ago.
like, nah, you gotta fuck these robots, and he's just like, I don't want to do anything, right? But you're seeing that like William was kind of like
This is after that.
So the earliest we've
but didn't they create Westworld?
the earliest
William
bought
went
it.
to Westworld and was just like, we're gonna buy this.
Yeah.
They
Oh.
bought
no
it.
they
Thank you.
Like an investor.
So here's what happened. The earliest we've seen William, the earliest point is in the episode 2 episodes ago, but the orgy episode that we don't see the orgy happen, but his brother-in-law gets
Logan.
pitched Westworld.
Right.
We see William leave at that dinner right before he meets with the people from Westworld. William leaves and kind of gives him a weird look. That's before he knew anything about that. He just left. He was having dinner with his brother-in-law and he leaves.
Okay.
That's the earliest we've seen William. Then all of what we saw in season 1 was post orgy with the brother-in-law. Him going to the park because he just got a
Westworld was
taste.
created already.
Yes.
Yes.
And this guy just
All the
pitching it.
technology-
Arnold.
Arnold and
Arnold and
created it.
yeah.
But the whole park was built.
ton, yes.
Everything
I
was
mean,
there.
Building more shit.
You know,
but
it
yeah.
was,
still
it,
being
was,
built.
it was on a smaller scale at the
They
time.
had the
and then
little
they
Southwestern
They had
shit.
Sweetwater. Sweetwater
Yeah,
was
so they
like
had
the focal
Sweetwater.
point, the
Yeah.
main town.
Maeve was getting cracked. There was
And
Dolores was
Dolores
dropping
kept
her
dropping
fucking soup.
that can
Her
every time.
tortellini puttanesque.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And then the filler, there's 30 years of we don't know what the fuck it is.
Marco's never
That's
coming back to
where-
another episode of West.
That's where we're seeing some of this stuff with Delos and,
Right. Gotcha. All right.
yeah.
How much time are we at?
He's ready to get
It's a
the fuck
weird
outta
question
here.
to ask.
I think we got it.
He goes, yo, Jack, time frame. All right, we
You
done
meant
here?
like by the episode.
Uh,
I think we hit him with a solid hour. Did we not, Al?
Yeah, we're good.
I think we did. All right, listen. Have we figured out what's going on here? Absolutely not. Are we more and more confused, even though we know more and more information? Absolutely, which I think is a sign of a great show. Yes.
I have
Jack.
one question you just
You have
reminded
one
me.
more question,
Is it
yes.
me or is the opening credits, which I usually like fast forward through, are they slightly changing with each episode? Is there like little things thrown in there?
I've been fast forwarding to them as
I
well.
do not know.
I know it's
I
different.
like to listen to it because I actually think that creepy music sets the tone.
It
What do you do?
fucking
You
sets it.
close your eyes and just like listen to the.
Deal with the piano keys. Right, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's
right.
very good.
Yeah.
Sit down there.
Shut the lights off.
Yeah.
Get nervous.
Oh.
Get a nice little bowl of raisin banana tuzza.
You know I can't have dairy. We've been through this 100 times. All right, cut the music. Shut this shit off.
All right, man. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Westerbros. We'll be back next week, man, with episode 5. What episode does this end at? 10, right? It's 10 episode season or 8?
I think 10.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll see you next weekend.